Call this meeting to order, Monday, October 20th at 6 p.m. Roll call, please. Crosby.
Jason is excused. Mike?
Here.
Jake?
Here.
Jim?
Here.
Dale?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Carolyn? Here. Greg?
Here.
Crosby here.
This is an open meeting and has been posted. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, up first we have Employee of the Month for Section Elementary School.
All right, this evening we would like to recognize Laura Baker for her exceptional dedication and leadership at Section and among our elementary school teams, while continuing to manage the daily operations of the Section office with professionalism and care. She has gone above and beyond to mentor and train our newer administrative assistants. Her willingness to share her expertise, provide guidance, and support their growth has strengthened our team and fostered collaboration across schools. Her ability to balance these responsibilities while keeping the office running seamlessly is a true testament to her skill, commitment, and collaborative spirit. We are grateful for her contributions and the positive impact she continues to make on our school community. Laura, if you could come up. Congratulations.
Joel, turn around so I can take some pictures. Oh, okay. There you go.
Congratulations.
Would you like to say anything?
Sure, I just wanted to say thank you to Joe and also to Rachel and the school, because I get up every day and I get excited. You can even ask my family. I am excited to go to work. So really I owe it to Vince Komar 5 years ago. We were in a life group together and he sent me an email saying, hey, there's some openings at Mukwonago. I think you should apply. So one of the best decisions I made 5 years ago to join the Mukwonago area school district. So thank you very much.
And who'd you bring today?
Oh, this is my husband, Tim.
Thank you very much.
I have to say our staff, I couldn't earn this without the great group that I work with. Rachel being a really great administrator for our school and great staff to work with. It makes my day happy. And then great students too and families. So it really is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, up next we have citizens' comments. None. All right, moving on down to presentations. Section Elementary Student Report. If there's any parents that want to come up here and take pictures while they're presenting, feel free.
Come on up to the table, guys.
You can move back here so you
All
can
the
get a
up
question.
here or sit up in the, get up in the horseshoe.
Okay, welcome. Make sure when you're talking, you get the mic close to your mouth, okay?
Can I start?
Yes.
Hello, we are from Section School and our theme this year is Soar Limitlessly.
Is this the slide that you guys want right now?
No.
What's the first one?
Great are you, Eve?
No, that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I got it wrong.
You look at those, look at the camera. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know how to talk that.
Are we in the right spot?
Yeah.
Just tell me when you want the next slide.
Okay. Hello, we are from Section School and our theme this year is Soar Limitlessly. Next slide.
Left and right, looking at just good.
I'm Nolan Bellinger. I'm Addie Sear. I'm Tenley Clemmy. And I'm Jenny Schmidt. PBIS Hawks Habit Day is a morning dedicated to teach all students the Hawks habits of each area in our school. On Hawks Habit Day, all classes go through 11 different stations At each station, the classes learn about what the appropriate behaviors are. Each station is led by a Hawking Master. Hawking Masters are sixth graders who lead each station. Next slide. Monthly themes throughout the year that promote different things. This month's theme is growth mindset. Next slide.
Move and Play is a membership or a leadership opportunity for 5th and 6th graders where we try to help younger students be able to play and have fun during recess. Overall, Move and Play helps students be able to soar limitlessly.
Monthly motivation. Creating a welcoming, positive message for students, staff, families, and community members as they enter the school. It helps promote PBIS. The October Friend says, believe in yourself. The November Friend says, gobble up kindness. The October theme is growth mindset, and the November theme is empathy and compassion.
Earlier this month, all students participated in our PTG-sponsored fundraiser, Section 60. This is an two-day event that students spend 60 minutes rotating through a variety of stations that promote physical and fitness, activity and fitness. From rock climbing to hula hooping to our new glow dance party, which is my favorite. Everybody enjoys being active while raising money for our school.
If you would like, you can just pick this up and put it to your mouth if you like. It's okay.
You did a great job.
You did a really good job.
The Jack-O-Lantern Draw is a community-sponsored event that Section Elementary leadership members have an option to participate in. They carve pumpkins with their family, and we put it on display at the park. Thank you so much for your time, and we will update you about our school in the future.
Any questions for the students?
I did see your jack-o'-lantern jaunt presentation. It was very well done. Good job.
Quick question, is there a contest for the best carved pumpkin? No, okay, just curious.
All right, well, thank you. Great job.
Great
Thanks,
job.
guys. Good job.
15 minutes later tonight.
Welcome, Rachel.
Hi, last time I did this, I got told I need to talk in the microphone, so that's my goal tonight, the microphone. All set, Tom? No, please scroll back. So this is our new sign, and I just wanted to show that off. We got a new sign this year. I'm really proud of that for our school. So that's our new Section Elementary sign that welcomes everyone off of Highway EE. And so got some feedback from the community and some students, and that's what we went with. So we're super happy with our new sign. So not part of the presentation, but I wanted to show it off in case you haven't seen it yet. All right, as the students mentioned, our theme this year is Soar Limitlessly. And we have 3 areas of focus: math, ELA, and our MLSS systems. I'll start with the math. Tom, if you can scroll, please. This math goal is going to seem familiar. We have been working at this math goal for 3 years, and every year tweaking it a little bit, just based on the results that we're getting the year prior. And what we're really focusing on is building students' ability to solve problems. And this year, we had really good results the last 2 years. So we're seeing achievement gains and we're also seeing growth. And so we made an adjustment this year and we're really focusing on depth of knowledge, looking at ensuring that our students are able to solve problems at a depth of knowledge that's a 3 or higher in problem solving. So that's really the change in the focus for the goal this year, is adding rigor to the questions that we're asking students to solve. If they can solve them the first time, then we increase the rigor. If they can't solve it the first time, we do some reteaching and instruction to get them to that level 3 or higher. So that's our goal this year, and we're about halfway through our first problem set on that. So some of the things that we're doing within that goal, again, is that depth of knowledge, of rigor of 3, hopefully get all of our students to a 3, potentially some to a 4. We're working on actionable feedback, so giving students feedback that's focused on where they're making errors, but also where their successes are. So instead of saying to a student, good job, we'll say, you did a nice job factoring these numbers, so really specific, or you need to go back and look at this specific piece. So not just good job, great work, actionable feedback. And then we're using our assessment results to drive those instructional next steps. So that would be, does a student need an intervention, reteaching? Do they need to work with their ALP teacher to try to get from that 3 to that 4? And so we're developing those skills along the way based on how our students are doing on our pre-test and post-tests. This is a goal that we're built based on our math goal that we've had really good success with. And so we're starting as a first step with this goal, taking the work that we've done with math and rolling that over into our ELA and focusing on our students' ability to summarize and find key details from a passage that they read. We looked at the standards across the district and noticed that really that's an area where our students, elementary school through high school, need some development and growth. So we're going to tackle that starting at our building using a similar process to what we did with the math. So what we're doing is we're looking at all of the ELA standards and we identified those grade level requirements for summarizing and key details. And then we develop standards aligned rubrics to help guide our instruction and our assessment. But then what we're doing is we created grade level reading and listening passages that are aligned to the ELA standards that are going to be used to assess students' ability to summarize and find key details. How that aligns exactly with forward exam is that's the process kids use on forward exam. They have to listen to a passage that's read to them, follow along, and then be able to answer questions, summarize, and find key details. So we thought if we could replicate that process while still developing their skills, that would be helpful when they encounter the forward exam starting in 3rd grade. And then, just like in math, we use those assessment results to drive our instructional next steps. So, do students need reteaching? Do we need some extension? Small group instruction, whole group reteaching to really develop those skills of summarizing. And then this is our 3rd goal. And this is really a goal that we're working on as a staff. This came from some of our work we did with Jessica Hannigan this summer on behavior and also through our PBIS team. Our goal is to increase our staff's understanding of the multi-level systems of support. It's a framework that we use that helps with academic and behavior and also intervention. And so at the beginning of the year, I gave staff a survey, and this was an area that showed that we needed some practice and some growth in. So the goal is to get 80% of our staff by the end of May to agree or strongly agree that they can explain all of the components of this system. So part of the action steps is we've created these dashboards of resources to ensure that the staff have access to all the academic and behavior resources. On the left-hand side is our academic behavior and PST, which is the problem-solving team resources. And then on the right-hand side is a PBIS dashboard that has all of the information staff would need for PBIS. And what we're slowly doing is using our professional development time to go through, particularly the document on the left, and go through all of those steps and stages. So staff engage with the MLSS system, they learn, they practice, we role play to ensure that everyone understands what those components are and how they are used to support students. So with that goal then, our PBIS team is putting professional development on not only understanding the MLSS system, but their confidence in application and using it, their understanding of PBIS systems, their confidence in application of that, and then support with student behavior when needed. That's all I have. Any questions? Can they talk in the microphone? I kept getting feedback.
Oh, you did great.
Okay, feedback so I could hear myself, which is.
Any questions? I don't see any, so thank you very much. I love all the
I
collaboration.
like the new sign, I just noticed that it says Hawks in the wind. I didn't see that at first, that's really neat.
I take no credit for that. I don't know where that came from. I'll give John Grunman, our art teacher, credit for that. I think he probably designed that years ago. Yes, it does.
All right, well, thank you, and I just want to say I love seeing the collaboration in your school, and I really like hearing all the positive feedback about your leadership from your staff, so, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Up next, we have consent agenda. We're looking for the approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes from October 13th, 2025, and approval of vouchers and receipts. Any questions and comments? Hearing none, that's approved by consent. Moving on to policy.
We have a number of technical corrections that are brought forward. These are technical corrections that I make, and then just notify the board that these policies have had a technical correction made.
Any questions? Thank you. Personnel topics, none. Let's see. Student learning topics.
I just have my director's report. So at last week's committee of the whole meeting, I had 2 informational items that I shared with the board. The first item was a summary of the 2 course proposals that we will be bringing to the board for the high school in November. So we are proposing adding advanced placement pre-calculus and then revising our advanced sports and entertainment marketing course. I will be bringing more details about both of those course proposals to the board in November and then asking for approval at the board meeting. And then the other item was an update on our new curriculum council. We are putting together a curriculum council to provide input and feedback on the district's curriculum. It will include representation from the staff, from parents, and then a board member. And those meetings that we have with the council will be noticed, open to the public, and we will be publishing minutes. So we will keep the board posted on our progress with this new council. And that's all I have.
All right. Any questions or comments? Thank you. Now, student service topics.
Last week at the Committee of the Whole, I brought forward a presentation on random drug testing. So that the purpose of that presentation was just to clarify our current district practice and to answer any questions you guys had around our policies and procedures currently.
I do not see any, so thank you.
Thanks.
Finance and facilities.
Yeah, I just added our memo summarizing what we discussed last time, so just in a debrief what we covered last Monday, we talked about transportation contracts and potentially waiving those fees that out-of-district students who attend our school through open enrollment pay. We're gonna keep that as is for right now. I presented our third Friday enrollment counts. Our third Friday full-time equivalency has dropped by 136 students from last year into this year. We talked about 4K planning. We said we would bring back a proposal for you to consider and approve at the November meeting, but we are gonna plan to put at least one section of full-time, full-day 4K into all of our residential elementary schools that have attendance boundaries, so that's all elementaries but Eagleville. And then to this, I just also added our budget year-to-date and bank balance, so if you take a look at the attachment there, it just kind of shows you our salary projection. I give this to you monthly. I have no concerns right now. This is just a high-level snapshot of all of our funds, all the things that we've budgeted and spent so far. So the budget is progressing as we would expect it to by this time of the year. That's all I got.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you. Moving on to action items. Board resolution for early start date.
So I am looking for somebody to make a motion to read the very long resolution that has been drafted for the early start date due to the construction of the new middle school for the 26-27 school year.
I second.
I'd like to make a motion that, and I read the entire thing, right?
Correct.
The school board resolution to start school on August 24th, 2026, whereas Wisconsin State Statute 118.045 provides that unless an exemption is granted by the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, no public school may commence the school term until September 1st. And whereas PI 2703 sets forth extraordinary reasons for granting a request to commence the school term prior to September 1st, including major construction projects that cause the school term to be altered and necessitate an earlier start date for the entire district. And whereas Wisconsin State Statute 120.12 and 120.44 authorize the Mukwonago Area School District to have the possession, care, control, and management of the property and affairs of the school district. And whereas PI 2703 requires that the school board's request be adopted as a written resolution by the school board at a school board meeting that compiled with Wisconsin Statute 19.83 and 19.84, and such requests include the reasons and any other relevant factors related to the request for an earlier school date start. And whereas the Mukwonago Area School District is currently constructing the new middle school facility, which is scheduled to be completed in August of 2027. And whereas to ensure the construction company has ample time to complete the new middle school under optimal weather conditions during periods when students are not present, it is necessary to adjust the traditional start date to allow for safe and uninterrupted work. And whereas the Board of Education believes that starting school on August 24th, 2026 will allow for adequate time to ensure the safety and preparedness of the new facility for all students and staff. And whereas the district is committed to providing the best possible learning environment and maintaining compliance with all safety regulations, now therefore be it resolved that the Mukwonago Area School Board hereby requests an exemption from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction to begin the 2026-2027 school year on August 24th, 2026 due to the construction-related delays of the new middle school, and be it further resolved that the school board directs the superintendent to submit this resolution to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction along with any supporting documentation related to the construction timeline and safety considerations, adopted this 20th day of October 2026. This says 2026.
2025, I'm so sorry.
Okay, I meant 2025.
Sorry.
Second.
You did great.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries. Moving on to the 25-26 budget.
Okay, so we've been working on crafting this budget now since January. It's a long time coming, but here we are 10 months removed from when we started, and we're bringing the budget to you tonight for final approval. Of all the, there's a summary of the paper handout that I gave you, and I'm just gonna forward to that. The resolution that we're looking to pass is inside the first page there. So just open up that first page, and then you'll see up on the top half is the 25-26 budget. So ultimately, we're looking for a roll call vote for a budget, a 25-26 budget that consists of $96,946,832 in revenues. So if you look under that 25-26 budget revenues column, and budgeted expenditures totaling $130,937,013. So that's the resolution we're looking for a roll call vote on. Just to give you some updates, as we look at these funds, virtually all of them are exactly the same or materially very small changes. The only funds I'm going to bring your attention to are Funds 10 and Funds 46. So the original budget that we kind of started from and adopted, we adopted in June. We took that to the voters at the annual meeting in August, and they approved it. What's changed since then really are, there's $2.6 million more in revenues, and I'll highlight those for you right now. So the additional $2.6 million in revenues that we're recognizing now, that we did not recognize at the annual meeting include, we're recognizing $600,000 of additional interest earnings in this final budget due to a higher interest rate environment being applied to our deposits. We have $140,000 of additional sponsorship revenue we're recognizing that's associated with our new scoreboard. $650,000 of additional revenue recognized due to open enroll students. So we didn't know when we adopted the budget how much we would receive for open enroll in students. Last year that amount was $8,962. This year when the biennial budget was finalized, that number became $10,102. So that leads to $650,000 additional dollars in revenue there for open enroll in students. We're recognizing $245,000 for library aid that comes from the state government, $545,000 of grants from the state government, $418,000 of revenues recognized for federal grants. And then there's some associated expenditures. So a lot of those revenues we just mentioned also have expenses tied to them. So once you recognize the revenues, you recognize the expenses at the same time. The $3.9 million of additional expenditures that exceed what we discussed at the annual meeting include $500,000 of additional expenditures associated with final staffing plans. Many of those positions are grant funded. So again, when the revenue is recognized, so is the expense. We're recognizing those additional positions right now. We have $91,000 of additional expenditures associated with finalizing the bus rates, which we did in June, I believe. $300,000 additional dollars of expenditures for the cost of students who open enroll out. So for that same additional revenue we receive for open enroll in students, there's also an open enroll out cost of $300,000. There's $150,000 of additional expenses for students who attend private educational agencies. So once Christine and her staff and Pupil Services Department finalizes those expenditures, we're recognizing those now. We have $245,000 of expenditures associated with the library aid that we noted above with revenues. And then we have the safety purchase that we approved in September. So that's being recognized here. The Fund 10 budget has about a $1.3 million deficit, all related entirely to a one-time safety purchase that we're in process of completing right now. So without that, our budget is very good. So this is a worthy time to go and have a deficit-based budget for the first time in 10 years. So that's the Fund 10 changes. In Fund 46, again, Fund 46 is funded at the end of a school year. If there's surplus money, we move it from Fund 10 into Fund 46, and then those funds are earmarked for whatever makes it onto our 10-year capital plan. You approve that 10-year capital plan every March, and then that gives Andy Wagner and his team marching orders to go ahead and complete the projects you approve. There were some projects that we approved in the 24-25 school year that ideally would have been completed by June 30th that would fit the fiscal year, but that's not reality. We had a lot of rain this summer. I know that affected the Clarendon roofing project, was really completed in August. So there are certain approved expenses for the 24-25 year that we rolled into the current year for the reasons I just mentioned. So the Clarendon roofing project was completed after July 1st. The scoreboard installation at Mukwonago High School was completed in August. We had some technology infrastructure upgrades with Kelly Kovneski and her team that were completed after July 1st, and then the track installation. So that makes it appear that Fund 46 spent more than it's bringing in, but again, those were expenses already approved in the prior year. Those are the largest material changes. Do you guys have any questions I can answer for any piece of the budget?
Jake?
Where did you say the resolution was, Tom? I'm not
It should be inside, the top of, if you open up the first page, so if you just flip over the cover page.
Yeah, I don't see it. It's not in the digital one either.
What, I'm sorry. No, it's there, I see it. I'm coming by here. The fund summary for resolution, right here, up top. So there's all the funds there for you, the revenues, the expenses.
So we don't need specific language.
Okay.
No, there is no whereases, I'm letting you down, I think
Whereas,
we got that.
Leave that to Rachel.
I'm a spreadsheet person, Rachel,
Somewhere in code.
someone.
Whereas.
So, that is a summary of all our funds, and we're looking for a roll call vote here.
I'll make a motion to approve as proposed.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, we have a roll call vote. Crosby?
Craig,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Crosby, yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to the 25-26 tax levy.
All right, same procedure here. We're looking for a motion here and then a roll call vote to finalize our tax levy. So if I could draw, on the same page you have in that paper handout I gave you, now you're looking at the bottom half. So you have a final tax levy for resolution, and we'll walk through that here right now. So if you bring your eyes up to the screen, I'll kind of walk you through what we approved in August, and then I'll walk further down to explain just the changes from last tax levy to this tax levy. On August 18th, we approved a tax levy at the annual meeting totaling $34,698,000 for a 7.4% increase. All right, we'll get into those reasons why as I scroll down. You can see that the final tax levy has dropped just a little bit. So again, our tax levy has three parts. We have our operating tax levy, which is our $11,650 revenue limit. The amount that we're levying here, you, the school board, you are restricted to this amount and nothing more. That's by state law, okay? The referendum levy here, this reflects Mukwonago High School project in 2016. Next year, this amount will go up to about $7.2 million as we begin to pay off the middle school project. So that is not being reflected at this time. And then we have the community service fund for $150,000, and that supports our two school resource officers at the middle school and the high school. So the tax levy that was proposed and approved at the annual meeting is down ever so slightly, but I guess what I'm proud of is that we were able to accurately project what we think is gonna happen. So there's a lot of guesswork that goes into, estimating what's your third Friday count gonna be, how much state aid you're gonna have, and we were able to get really close to that. So I like to present a meaningful annual meeting where we can present to the electors something that's gonna be close to reality, and we did that, okay? So as we go through, how did we get to this $34.6 million and comparing that to last year? As we take a look right now, the basic revenue limit math, last year we had 4,622 students in our 3-year average. We multiplied that by last year's value of 11,325, and we arrived at $52.3 million. This value here, and same as this year here, now this is about 80% of all of our funding. This is the most important thing from a financial perspective here. This year, we have that decrease of 83 students in our third Friday count. The number went up to 11,650, so that $325 increase lended itself to a $535,000 increase in funding for our school district, okay? This number here, this 11,650, is defined by the state biennial budget, okay? As we move down to the adjustments, so once we have this basic value here that we talked about, we're gonna add some adjustments or exemptions to that. When we did our 2016 referendum at Mukwonago High School, there was 2 questions. The second question said for all the additional square footage that were responsible for utilities and supplies, so on and so forth, can we have an extra $350,000 for 20 years? So we are still in about the middle of that 20-year window. We're adding that value. Because of our declining enrollment situation, we have an additional $966,000 that's applied here. This is basically a last call, okay? So they're saying, hey, Mukwonago, we're letting you know at this time, your enrollment is down, so we'll provide this funding for you in a one-time manner. So basically those 83 FTE that we lost, if they were still with us, that would have provided this much in funding. So basically between now and next year, we have to basically close that gap down. That'll be the next task as we begin the 26-27 budget. For voucher students, so these are private school students that do not attend our schools, this is basically a tax increase here of $1.7 million. This is $250,000 higher than last year, and essentially our taxpayers are funding 2 educational systems between public K-12 schools and those private schools that these students attend. There's a small amount of other, and that ultimately adds up to $3.1 million in adjustments, okay, which is $644,000 higher than last year's adjustments. Once we add this $3.1 million into the basic math we did here, this 52.8 plus this 3.1 gives us a total revenue limit of $55.9 million. That's our pot of money, so to speak here. Sorry, that keeps popping up. So of this $55.9 million, the state aid number here that we are getting is $27.8 million. We received this number last week, Wednesday, and you can see last year we received $28.9 million. This year is $27.8. So state aid decreased by just about $1.1 million. So between our revenue limit going up by $1.179 million and state aid going the other direction, we have a total operating tax levy for Fund 10 going up $2.2 million. 71% of all school districts are in this boat where they're seeing a smaller aid amount. It's basically impossible to write a state budget where you're allowing for school districts to have $325 additional dollars and to put no more money in the general aid pot. It's impossible. The only way that this thing is going to land is on a property tax increase. So we are one of the 71% of school districts with lesser amounts of money. You can see our pot of money there, we're losing $1.1 million. I'm not prepared to talk about this tonight, but I do want to mention that in the state aid formula, which largely, some people will say school funding is broken, largely I disagree with that. I think for the most part, how aid is distributed, for the most part, works as intended, but like I said earlier, if the state legislature says we're not going to put any more money into that, again, it's a teeter-totter effect of that $55.9 million. Who's going to pick that tab up? Is it the state aid or is it local property taxpayers? I think when the state biennial budget was crafted, when the legislature and the governor said we're not putting any more money into it, that was letting taxpayers know this is on you. So that's how I see it. There's really no other way for this to shake out here. All school districts, as I shared last time in Waukesha County, are anticipating a property tax increase, and they'll be passing it this week here, okay? All right, so the total tax levy, as we take a look at it for our operating levy for Fund 10, our referendum levy here for Fund 39 and a community service is up over last year. So the 7.2% increase is primarily due to the operating levy going up, which is driven by the funding increase from $11,325 to $11,650, increases in taxes associated with students attending private voucher schools, and the decrease in state aid. One thing I want to highlight is that our mill rate is going to drop ever so slightly from 582 to 580. So the mill rate is the rate of taxation per $1,000 of a house's fair market value. It's a way to compare the overall tax levy for K-12 schools relative to the health of the housing market and property values. 580 is the lowest mill rate in our district's history. So as you compare what the school district is asking for in a tax levy relative to the value of housing, this is the lowest mill rate that there's ever been. This will no doubt show, a couple $100 increase to the average property taxpayer. Everybody has a different position there. So that's a pretty general statement. Everybody has a different position, but generally speaking, that's what should be expected by our residents here. The resolution that I have here is just more or less a summary of what we're proposing here for a total tax levy of $34,631,786. Is there any questions that I can answer? Okay.
Nope. Looking for a motion and then a roll call vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 tax levy as proposed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Crosby, yes. Mike?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to bus transportation appeals.
Okay, we have one last appeal. We talked about the details last time. This is for elementary Route 33. The proposal is to adjust the stop from Joshua Way. If you take a look at the screen right here, I'm kind of motioning here. County Road NN is up top. Off out of the screen here is where Highway E and County Road NN occur. So as you're headed this way, you're heading towards Eagle. This bus route turns left into the neighborhood, makes a couple stops here and here. The bus moves down and around here. A couple of these students here that we're seeing do not travel the bus and have not historically. So the next route, after this stop here, the bus moves down and around and stops here. Students from this stop here move down. There's 3 students that live here, including a 5K student. And then the students that are down on the court here and here walk up to this bus stop right here. The request, as I understand, is to move the stop from this location down to this location. That would essentially put, change the stop and elongate the distance that these kids are traveling, which we picked this spot, I should say the bus company picks this spot as a central location to manage all the factors of running their routes on time, getting the right number of students at a stop, so on and so forth. So that's the information that I have for you right now.
Tom, that dot all the way at the bottom,
Here,
yep,
yep.
does that child still ride?
Yeah, so as I'm told by the bus company, this pink dot, and this pink dot do not ride. If those students were riding, there would be an additional pickup right here. Currently, that stop is not implemented for those students not using the bus.
All right, looking for a motion either to approve or deny the bus transportation appeal.
Make a motion to deny the bus transportation appeal.
Make a motion a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to deny the bus transportation appeal. Any questions, comments, discussion?
So sorry, I keep getting like way too close to it. The stop that used to be right where your cursor is on Jacob Lane that is no longer, is because those kids are not riding?
Correct.
So couldn't we just add one somewhere centrally for those 3 that are, and not take away from the 5K student and just have one additional stop, just like we used to have? And then with the understanding that next year, when you guys evaluate bus routes, you evaluate all of them, right? So Dalsman goes through and they see who signs up for buses and who doesn't. So next year, if there's a bunch of kids on Jericho Court that sign up, that bus stop may not exist next year and it might have to be moved.
So yeah, that process does, occur every single year in the month of August. So what I would tell you that is, if we're gonna put a stop here and then another stop here, I mean, you have your bus essentially stopping within 100 yards or 125 yards, whatever that distance is. And generally speaking, when we design bus routes, there's a fixed amount of time between picking students up and then dropping them off, be it in the morning or the afternoon. That if you're creating bus stops that are that close in nature, if you begin to do that here, you would be expected to say, well, let's do that everywhere. And that would become impossible to perform all those stops. And that just kind of is precedent setting. So I started here in November of 2015, so we're coming up on 10 years. And the school board at that time made it very well clear that they had extended a lot of stops that would be similar to what we're talking about here of just adding a stop. And I understand the request. It already goes by my house, why can't you just stop? I would love to say yes to each and every family that's looking for that. I would love to help out in that regard. However, I mean, we're gonna do that across 35 bus routes where if you're stopping every 200 yards, we will never get to school on time. It will be impossible to do that. So we get a number of requests every year that are similar in this nature, and my response in all my emails is, I apologize, as I know this is not the answer you're looking for, but we can't make this exception. There would be too many exceptions to make. And I don't take any pride or pleasure in saying that, but it's just the reality of busing.
Is there any other comments? I drove past that this past weekend, and it is not a far walk. I don't see a reason why we should keep adding it. I think also, when we heard from our parent last week, one of his justifications was, hey, you moved another bus stop, why not me? And I think by doing this, we're gonna have more and more of that. Like I said, I drove through there. It's not a far walk. It is a very safe neighborhood. So I'm gonna probably go along with the denial. That's my comment. Any other comments?
Mr. Porter, if I may.
Yes.
In the administrative guidelines, which is how the board has asked administration to apply the policy, it does state parents are also to be informed that they're responsible for the safety of their child while going to and from the bus stop and while waiting for the school bus. The child being at the bus stop prior to the scheduled pickup time and then damage the school buses and inform that their children riding must follow the conduct. So it is explicit that parents are responsible for the safety of their children while walking to the bus stop and then while waiting for the bus.
Any other questions or comments?
I have one. If the other 3 kids started riding, I could see maybe moving that further down. If the other 3 dots, I mean, then it would make more sense.
I think if any of these families started to ride, we would not have this family, or this family walking all the way up here.
Right.
There would be another stop that would take place here, but I think even in that scenario, we wouldn't be creating a stop here. We would create a stop, again, centrally located to meet the needs of who's walking to it.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, there's a motion on the floor to deny the bus transportation appeal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
Motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, superintendent report.
So just again, want to thank Rachel Crockford and the students and from Section Elementary School. They do just a great job. I thank the board for allowing us to make that change in how student reports are given. If you remember back a couple of years, it was high school students that sat on the panel. I think it's great to be able to hear directly from our elementary and middle school age kids talk about how things are going. The second thing, just to kind of give the board a heads up, we're beginning to work on a district history project that we hope to have completed by the time the new middle school opens up. There's a yearbook from 1920 that is in my office, and in it describes the first school that was in the what is now the village of Mukwonago, that was opened in 1847. So just from a timing standpoint, if that school opened in 1847, we got to do some fact checking on that, but it'd be really neat to have this project completed in 2027.
Where was that school located, Joe?
I don't have the exact.
You were there.
Yeah, where were you? You were a junior then.
Yeah.
I never had a bus route moved for it though.
It was a couple of years before you were in the school, Craig. But our hope is one of the things that we hope to accomplish is to pull the history. It was shared with me by Ben Kossel that when we formed as a school district in 1972, that was 14 or 16 individual school districts that came together into one. And some of those up until the 60s and the early 70s were much like Eagleville. It sat as its own school district during that particular period. So we want to be able to pull that history together. So you'll see some social media posts We're spending some time at the museum in town, at the library, digging through our own old archives to try to figure out exactly, what that timeline is. We know that we will not have it complete because there's information that, if people have it and are willing to share it, we're certainly willing to add it to the timeline. But that is coming in the next, say, 18 months worth of work. So we'll keep you posted on the status of that. But if you've been in town, Craig, for a long time, and you do have some old boxes in the basement that might have old yearbooks that go way back, we've got a very good history going back to about 1972. But anything prior to that, that you have laying around or that you know from neighbors or family friends, we certainly would love to have our eyes on that and be able to make some copies, take some pictures of it, and build it into our archive.
Did they find the time capsule from the middle school or whatever?
That, we believe that was excavated somewhere along the way. The time capsule never turned up. We did have a metal detector go over the property. We had, talked to people, but that one never popped up.
All right. Thank you. I just want to give hats off to Dustin Lehman and Mukwonago High School team putting on Muck Ready. It's not just people coming, showing up and presenting to our students. It's a lot of coordinating, getting all those businesses to come in at the same time, navigating, trying to get their representatives through the high school to each of different classrooms, presenting to them, and I thought they did an outstanding job. The students seemed to be engaged and asking a lot of questions, so hats off to the high school, Dustin Lehman and the whole team. All right, moving on, we're looking for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. We have a motion and second, roll call please.
Crosby, yes. Mike?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes,
Eric?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
we are adjourned, thank you.